Subaru made a mistake. Their pricing for the new base WRX, and we're only talking about the base WRX because that is the key factor here, is outrageous. The fact that they've increased the price from 2023 to 2024 at the number they did is frankly wild, and I have no idea how the consumer base is going to react. Now, they might have done this smartly because they've raised the prices of all their other cars and it's been increasing over time, but get this. The WRX has increased, the base WRX has increased from 2023 to 2024. There is a differential of 10.6% in cost. I wrote it down. I got my notes. The 2023 WRX was $30,605 MSRP. You could buy them as MSRP. I bought this base for like $28,500, right? That's a reasonable price for this car relative to everything else in the market, what it delivers, what the VA delivered, because again, the VA you can buy for like 15 to 20K, a good VA, and it will do very much the same things as this minus a few things. So keep that in mind. The 2024 is going to cost $33,855. They've raised it over $3,000 for a base WRX. What incentivizes anyone to not just go out and buy a 2022 or 2023 WRX? Yes, there's a few improvements. Yes, the new base is going to come with the bigger screen in the middle, but we know that the bigger screen, that bigger 10.4-inch screen, I think it's 10.4 inches, it's like the only screen that has reported issues with this car. My base WRX doesn't have any issues with the infotainment. I get the same, basically the same viewing window for maps and stuff because they still split the screen for maps, so it's not like the other Subarus. So there's a few other differences, but for $3,000, a 10.6% increase, that's insane to me. And yeah, you might make the comment that businesses need to make money, but 10.6% is massive when you think about it. Most other car companies do not have jumps like that. They very much are closer to inflationary jumps. But 10.6% is pretty substantial, especially for no change in like model. To give you perspective, the difference between the last VA WRX and the first VB WRX, so we're talking new model, new year, new features, was around 10%. So they're valuing it as the same impact as changing the generation of the car, which I think is outrageous. And I think moreover than that, people are already struggling to buy the WRXs. We know that for a fact. We can see the data, one for sales. I mean, the sales are decent, but we know the average age of the buyers are going up, which means it's harder for somebody that's younger to buy this car, or they're less incentivized to buy the VB WRX and buy another car. They're probably swooping in and picking up all the VAs. But we know that the younger community behind this platform is not purchasing it, and raising the cost just takes it away further. Also, a $33,000, basically a $34,000 car, isn't cheap in today's day and age. I live in a high cost of living area, and that's not a cheap car. At $34,000, I'm already looking at other vehicles because for most people, you take out a loan. Some of us, we can buy it outright. It depends on your financial situation. But if you're already taking out a loan, what's $30,000 to $40,000 and buying a nicer sports car? You know, like those are the types of things that you can think about if you're really playing the game of losing your money on a sports car and taking a loan out anyways. I mean, that's a deeper conversation to have, but I'm gonna put this away. You get my point. That's an outrageous increase in cost. And I know this is kind of a dumb video and it's just me complaining, but it's something that you guys should be aware of. The additional value that you're getting for $3,000 for the 2024, I can tell you it's not worth it. There's not a piece worth it. The screen, the infotainment, just buy a premium 2023 or a premium 2022, and you basically have all the same things. Yeah, you're buying it used, you're still gonna get the warranty passed on to you, and you're gonna probably pay the same amount for a premium with all the extra features you're gonna get. We're talking about the base WRX. So I don't know, I'm obviously a little heated up by this. I just Subaru is just running in the wrong direction. As somebody that owns a business in the Subaru side outside of just my YouTube channel, who's been a super fan of the WRX and the Subaru community, I've had 3 WRXs. I love the platform. Where they're going with their pricing just feels outrageous. It feels contradictory to what the Subaru community is and being inclusive and all those things. They have to offer a cheaper car. Like, even if they were to strip the WRX down to more, think about it that way, right? If they were to take a bunch of features out and have a $28,000 WRX, you know what would happen? It would sell. They just have to make it so that financially they make the same profit margins on the lower car. There's other business reasons not to do that, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying having the entry-level vehicle for them into this world now costs $34,000 without tax is insane. Think about what happens when you add sales tax to that. right? All of a sudden you're buying a $36,000 car. I mean, depending on your sales tax rate, I'm just, this is a little bit of an estimation and guess based on a spectrum of sales tax rates. But just imagine, you're like, the base WRX now out the door could be as much as $36,000, which is mind-boggling to me, and I think it's outrageous, and I think it's taking away from what this car is supposed to be. Again, for perspective, I picked up this base brand new for $28,000. And again, I got a good deal and I did all that stuff, and you're not going to necessarily pay MSRP for the new one, but we know in the last year, everyone's paying MSRP. Very few people are getting deals. Now, everybody says they're paying below MSRP, but actually the numbers show otherwise, that some people are certainly getting deals, and dealerships have lots of cars on their lots, and everybody likes to be comment warriors in the comments, and I love it because I like having the conversations, but we know the numbers don't lie. Most people are still paying MSRP value for these cars because the dealers that have lots of them are in areas that have lots of WRXs, and most of the WRXs spread out around the rest of the country. It's harder to get your hands on them. If you actually look at some of the videos that I've made in the past that talk about pricing, availability, and all that stuff, about 50% of the people say, I'm having to commute 200 or 300 miles to buy a WRX, and I'm paying $1,000 over, I'm paying MSRP. It's just they're not spread out equally across the US right now. I don't know if that was poor planning, intentional, whatever it is, but right now we do know some lots have a lot of them, some don't. So if you're in the market for a WRX, that's also a good statement. I've actually always traveled for my car. I got lucky, this one was only about 2 hours for me, but my first car, I flew to Illinois from Boston. I actually sold my first WRX. I bought my second WRX, it was a 5-hour drive, Boston to New York City. I sold that WRX in Pittsburgh. I drove all the way to Pittsburgh. It was like a 12-hour drive through a snowstorm. I have a cool video on the channel about that whole journey. Sold it in Pittsburgh. Bought my next WRX probably 2 hours away up in New Hampshire. Bought this one 2 hours away up in Western Mass. I bought a truck like 8 hours away in upstate New York. I had some people come to me actually with my Miata. I've always traveled for my cars because you get the best deals. Even when you're selling them, as long as you do everything right, you get the right buyer, you all do all those things, that's where you get the most out of your cars. And while it's only a little bit and it feels like a lot of work for a little bit of money, it's basically free money on the table, and that's how you level up car to car to car. I mean, to give you guys perspective, this is the first car that I've really had a loan on ever, and I just took a loan on it because I got the like maybe 1.9%, I can't remember, 2.9%. It was under inflationary, so I was able to just put this money for this car in a bank account that has a high yield savings that's greater than the interest rate for this car. It saves like 3 or 4 payments over the lifetime of the loan, so it's not like hugely substantial, but it makes an impact and it saves a little bit of money and it builds my credit a little bit, not that it really needs building, but that's some perspective for you. I would always travel, get a little bit of money. It'll help you upgrade your cars over time. I don't know how we tangented to this, but the pricing for the 2024 WRX is outrageous. Again, I hate just making videos complaining, but I had to talk about it because I just feel like it's kind of crazy. So I'll see you guys in the next video. The next video, modification video. If you're not familiar, for the next like 3 to 4 months, we got mods coming out every single week being installed in this car. The reason why you're looking at this car in this tight view is because I got mods in the car that I don't want you guys to see until the install comes out. Keep an eye out for it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.